Hi, I'm Howard Feldman, and I wanted to tell you about some of the courses that I run. Our business environment is littered with companies that were extremely innovative, but ultimately didn't survive the change in environment. And it's a very perplexing question. It's a very perplexing situation where you have a company, Kodak for example, that was at their top of the game, Xerox, which was at the top of their game, Nokia, the list goes on and on. But when you see these incredibly innovative companies that haven't survived, one has to look at what it was that prevented them from transitioning. Our fear of innovation is really just our own fear. But it's important to understand it, because if business isn't innovating all the time, then it is not going to succeed. There's a common thread that runs through many of these companies. And what I'd like to do, and what I do in this course, is go through some of those commonalities and try and understand and help companies to address how they can view their own advancement and their own strategy from that perspective. The question that I always ask when I begin this conversation is, if you're running a hardware store and somebody walks into the store and asks you for a 1/4-inch drill bit, what is it that you're looking for? And invariably people around the room will say, he's looking for a drill bit, he's looking for a drill, we could sell him an extension cord. All of those might be relevant answers, but it's not what I'm looking for. What the customer is actually looking for is a solution to create a 1/4-inch hole. Now, why is that relevant? It sounds silly, but the reality is that we need to look, and business needs to look at not only what they are doing, but actually what their customers are looking for. So when Kodak, who essentially were the bastions and guarded our memories throughout the 20th century, they knew that the digital camera was coming along. They in fact invented the digital camera. They did research that showed they had 10 years to transition from a print environment to a digital environment, but they didn't do it. And why didn't they do it? Because Kodak were in the business of printing. They were in the business of paper, and they didn't want to transition out of it, even though they knew it was going to happen. They didn't look at their customer and say what their customer was looking for was a way to preserve their memories. They weren't looking for a piece of paper, and they weren't looking for a printed photograph. And that is essentially what so many of our fears are based on, because we look at what we do as a company and not what our customers are looking for. So what the course does is we go through these things, we go through examples, we look at the spice trade, we look at the ice trade, which is a fascinating study, and we look at where the refrigeration market is going. So all of these things allow us to look at other industries and then reflect back on our own business. Once we've done that, and once we realize that we might have to do that, I take the participant through a process where they can define what their fears are, define what their goals are, put measures in place to prevent them, and if they can't prevent them, then to fix them. And what that does is allows the company to open up, to look at their business from so many angles, to overcome what is a fear of innovation, but in fact is really a fear of the unknown. I'd love you to participate in the course.